We've been selling the finest.
Madison Square Garden Television.
This NIT, Randy Brewer, the big freshman, is the Golden Gophers' leading scorer. So the finals of the National Invitational Basketball Tournament, where it all began, where it is today, coming up in just a moment. We'll be back with more of the pregame.
Number 3, Jeff Lamp. Number 10, Craig Robinson. Teams are...
This is Madison Square Garden. A big crowd on hand for the finals of the NIT, and now the starting lineups with public address announcer John Condon.
Madison Square Garden. This game is for the championship of the 43rd Annual National Invitation Tournament. Here are the starting lineups for the Cavaliers of the University of Virginia. At the forwards, number 11, Garland Jefferson. Number 44, Terry Gates. At center, number 50, Ralph Sampson. And at the guards, number 3, Jeff Lamp. And number 24, Jeff Jones. And the coach of the Cavaliers, Terry Holland. For the Gophers of the University of Minnesota, forwards, number 32, Trent Tucker. Number 42, Gary Holmes. At center, number 44, Kevin McHale. And at the guards, number 24, Mark Hall. And number 30, Darrell Mitchell. And the coach of the Gophers, Jim Dutcher. The officials, Joe Sylvester, Mickey
There
Crowley.
is Coach Jim Dutcher of the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. This program authorized by Madison Square Garden Television solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the program without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Television, is prohibited. Unlike most teams who come in against the University of Virginia, as we take a look at the officials, Charlie Deal, Mickey Crowley, and Joe Sylvester, Minnesota will not give up size. Kevin McHale will jump center. He's 6'11", goes against Sampson, who is 7'4", but this Minnesota team is big, and here comes Minnesota. Hall lays it up and in. That whole forward to guard play right off the opening tap, and Mark Hall puts Minnesota out in front by a score of 2-0. Virginia with the ball for the first time this evening. Jeff Jones in possession. He's the point guard, the man who makes things happen. This is Jones again, and Bucky looks like the Golden Gophers have gone into a zone.
Well, that's where they're best, with that big front line, especially when Brewer comes in. It's very tough to get inside. The key is Jeff Lamp hitting early to give the big guy a little working room.
And the personal foul is on Trent Tucker, and watch Ralph Sampson, because he can pass the basketball.
He draws a crowd underneath, wisely dumps down underneath, and that one draws a crowd.
Back live, Jefferson fires it in, and we're all even up. Garland Jefferson ties it at 2.
Off the inbounds, Minnesota was playing a zone, except one man was playing in for man, and that's a switch. They're normally solid zone on the baseline out of bounds.
So here's Minnesota with the ball. Mark Hall, this is Darryl Mitchell, number 30. His 2 free throws won the semifinal ball game for the Golden Gophers against the University of Illinois. This is Kevin McHale, the All-American. Hall, Mitchell again, and Hall has room off that zone. He's at 2 in a row, and Minnesota leads it by a score of 4-2.
Virginia in a 1-3-1 zone. Sampson is back, but he does not cover the corners. They're sending Gates from the middle. That's a tough route to run. Even if he gets there, he's vulnerable for the drive on the baseline because he's coming from the free throw line.
That's what Virginia has done throughout the season. They have not sent Big Ralph Sampson to the corners. Here's Lamp to Sampson. And Ralph Sampson has his first 2. We are tied at 4-4 with 18:25 left in this first half of play. Finals of the 43rd National Invitational Basketball Tournament from Madison Square Garden in New York. The Golden Gophers, Mitchell. McHale just roaming along the baseline. You see him on the right-hand side of your screen. This is Mitchell. Bounces off Jones, and the rebound, Jeff Lamp. Let's see if Virginia will run. They usually will slow it up. Jeff Jones playing all season with torn cartilage in his knee, and it's knocked out of bounds by Trent Tucker. It'll still be Virginia ball.
Virginia normally is a half-court team and a very good one, and people try to force them to go up-tempo. In this particular case, with Minnesota's awesome size, I think it will be Virginia that will be looking for transition. Although they're not a great running team, they're sneaky, great perimeter shooters, especially Jeff Lamp.
Here's Jones, the man who sets it up, and Sampson. Way short, rebound. Hall has it and goes through his legs very nicely to keep it away from Terry Gates. Here come the Golden Gophers. Trent Tucker. This is Mitchell. Off that zone. And the rebound's pulled down by Garland Jefferson.
Virginia gave another look that time. They went 2-3.
Here's Lamp as he picked it up. McHale with a rejection, and it's pulled down by Mark Hall. On the break for the Golden Gophers. Tucker. They'll slow it up. Minnesota, very patient, well-coached ball club. Jim Dutcher in his 8th year with the Golden Gophers. This is Hall. Mitchell, who could fire.
Virginia's done an excellent job of knowing where McHale is, but it's the perimeter shooters that have hurt him so far. That's still a good risk for Virginia.
Because they've got to keep hitting from the outside to stay in this ball game. This is Lamp. He had 30 in the semifinal victory over University of Nevada in Las Vegas. Jones. Minnesota stays in the zone. 16.5 left in this first half of play. Here's Sampson with a turnaround over home. Rebound pulled down by Sampson. Outside to Jefferson, and we get a whistle. 3-second violation called on the Cavaliers. Terry Gates, and the ball will go over to the University of Minnesota from Madison Square Garden, where it all began, where it is today, the finals of the NIT. And with the freshman we talked about prior to the start of the ball game, when he comes in, he usually comes in to replace Gary Holmes. And if Holmes doesn't get involved quickly, we'll be seeing Brewer pretty quickly.
Yeah, then they go 7-2, 6-11, 6-10.
And I like what their assistant coach, Jimmy Williams, said to us over the weekend. He said, our ball club is very impressive in airports. They get off planes. Everybody knows they're there. Here's Lamp off the steal for the University of Virginia. 6-4, the Cavaliers down by a couple. The dummy pass to Sampson too high, and here come the Golden Gophers as Tucker leads the break and gets to Mitchell. Beautiful fast break by the Golden Gophers, who now lead at 8-4.
Well, we talked about their speed, but the quickness for Minnesota is out front. The front court is very slow, but they have 3 guys out front that can really push it up the floor.
Now, when you take that fast break, no matter how quick you are, if you don't run it correctly, the man with the ball's got to come down the lane. We got an offensive foul on the University of Virginia's Ralph Sampson, and that is his first.
This time, McHale is playing behind Sampson. Lamp finds the big guy inside. This is where McHale has to play. Sampson wanted a little more room, couldn't quite get his feet set. A good call by Mickey Crowley.
And that is his first personal foul on Big Ralph Sampson. Minnesota with an 8-4 lead, 15:25 left in the half. Mitchell in deep, it'll count. He is fouled. No! Yes, he is fouled on the play. I thought I saw a Minnesota player get Virginia player get upset. And there is Virginia's Gates up off the floor.
The expression on his face when that foul was called, it looked like he came with a glass flask and sat on it. He couldn't believe it.
Who, me?
I thought he had good position. I thought it was a bad call. Terry Holland agrees with me.
Terry Holland, the coach of the Cavaliers of Virginia. And here's Mitchell. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, his 2 free throws in the final 14 seconds gave Minnesota a berth here in the finals. Minnesota did not score a field goal in the final 10 minutes of the semifinal contest against Illinois. And now a full court press by the Golden Gophers. Teams try to do this all year to Virginia. They've been unsuccessful. Here's Lamp. He stops and he pops. And the rebound, Sampson. And it's taken away from by Darrell Mitchell. Mitchell on the break. Gives to McHale. Oh, the Golden Gophers are breaking.
McHale pulled something in his back. It looked like he was going to go up to dunk. The 6'11" senior now looks like he might have pulled a little muscle in his back. He was really trucking on that outside lane. Took the pass. Looked like he was going to slam it. Pulled up short. Still made the layup barely.
Here's Gates, and he is called for traveling. And the first time in this tournament, Bucky Waters, we are seeing the Cavaliers of Virginia get a little bit rattled.
Well, they'll settle down. McHale still having difficulty, and he is not only the captain for the Golden Gophers, he is the franchise.
He is the heart of this ball club. Here's Mitchell giving it to McHale. Good, did not look like he could bend down for that pass, and Jones steals it. Jeff Jones takes it. Sampson on the tip, and a beauty.
We're seeing a lot more transition from both of these teams than I expected. There certainly isn't any caution out there. They're both running and gunning.
11-6 Minnesota out in front. Lee Raker getting set to come into the lineup. You see him right on the bottom of the screen moving to the left. Here's McHale, and he will take it. Short rebound pulled down by the Golden Gophers, Gary Holmes. Patient ball club. The Golden Gophers of Minnesota, who are 10-3 in Big Ten play. 21-10 on the season. Here's Holmes firing, and it'll count. He was fouled. Jeff Jones picks up the personal. Gary Holmes has his first basket of the evening.
That time Virginia showing man for man. Pressure on the ball by Gates. Swings baseline, goes up. Jeff Jones coming from his position in the backcourt to try to help. Was too late, too short. I didn't see the foul. There must have been one.
So here is Holmes in the line, getting ready, trying to complete a three-point play. In this NIT, he is averaging only 4.5 points a ball game, and he now has 3 in this one. And Minnesota's largest lead. They lead it by a score of 14-6, 8 points with 13:45 left in the first half of play. This is Jones. Jeff Lamp.
Sampson wants the ball on the left side. That's his favorite spot. Let's watch how they play him. Even though they're in a zone, someone is going to be playing him with man coverage. I think they should be playing him from the baseline side with a leg behind him. Right now, McHale basically is playing him from the top, which makes him vulnerable to that lob pass and the good moves that Sampson has along the baseline.
And Kevin McHale picks up the personal, his first, second on the University of Minnesota here in the first half. Finals of the 1980 National Invitational Basketball Tournament. We're happy you can be with us throughout these United States of America. This is Lee Raker, number 25, to Sampson. Lamp goes for the rebound. We got a foul. And it's going to be on the University of Minnesota's Trent Tucker.
Randy Brewer, number 45, who was Cinderella last night for Minnesota, came off the bench, 24 points, 9 rebounds, and hit 13 straight as Minnesota struggled with Illinois. The game finally ended 65-63 to bring Minnesota to the finals.
That was Tucker's second personal foul and the third on the University of Minnesota. 14-6, the Golden Gophers lead the Cavaliers from Charlottesville, Virginia. This is Jeff Lamp, Raker, excellent shooter. Here's Sampson, finds Gates, and we got a foul. And it's going to be on Kevin McHale. That is his second personal.
I'm surprised at how easily Virginia is making entry. Jim Dutcher is too. In his 5th year with Minnesota, that zone was supposed to cut off the inside and force some outside shooting. So far, Lamp hasn't had a field goal from the perimeter, but they are getting the ball inside, and that's foul problems. A good pass by Ralph Sampson underneath, McHale coming across trying to bail out gets called for the foul.
And Terry Gates on the line. He'll shoot two. A junior from Louisville, Kentucky. Ballard High School in Louisville. 3 members of this University of Virginia team are from the same school. Jeff Lamb played there, as did Lee Raker. So Gates has his first point of the ball game, and a good look at the youngster from Louisville. 14-7. Minnesota out in front by 7 with 12:55 left in the first half. Backdoor, and Tucker couldn't catch up to the basketball.
Virginia playing lots of man for man. Minnesota trying to go backdoor and threw it in the stands.
So here's Jeff Jones, patient, very bright basketball player, controls the offense. Jeff Lamp, his favorite spot. The tip by Gates, the rebound McHale for the Golden Gophers. And here's Darrell Mitchell leading the break, giving it to Tucker. Baseline to Hall. The rebound knocked it out of bounds. It'll still be Minnesota ball. And the Golden Gophers, their height advantage, they are getting those offensive rebounds, Buck.
Yeah, watching the 2 big men underneath, Ralph Sampson at 7'4" and Randy Brewer at 7'2". The 2 freshmen are now matched up in the man-for-man concept defensively for Virginia.
That was Trent Tucker leaving the lineup, and Gary Holmes back in for the Golden Gophers. That's Holmes, number 42. Mitchell fires. The Golden Gophers are hot. Darrell Mitchell has 7 points, and Minnesota with a 9-point lead.
Look at the back of this zone now. Holmes 6'10", Brewer 7'2", and McHale 6'11".
Here's Gates, Sampson. Virginia's cold, and McHale has the rebound. Batted away, but Mitchell has it.
Nothing wrong with McHale's back now. He's really hitting the boards.
12 minutes left in this first half of play, and Minnesota has a 9-point lead, 16-7. This is Brewer, the freshman, taken right out of his hands by Terry Gates. And here come the Cavaliers. Jeff Jones. Raker, he's got a good shot. The tip by Sampson, trying to stuff it. Lamp has it. Feeds underneath the Gates, who lays it in.
Sensational pass by Jeff Lamb. Drew the crowd to him, slipped it under. The bounce pass is definitely the best pass in close because the defenders all have their hands up in anticipation of the shot. Unless you're throwing it to Ralph Sampson, then throw it above the square and he'll get it.
Here's Holmes. The Golden Gophers are hot. Gary Holmes, the sophomore from Miami, Florida, has 5 points. Minnesota has now hit 8 of its first 12 shots from the floor. And I don't need a computer to know that's 66%. And though that's incredible, Buck.
Well, it certainly shows that there are no more garden jitters. We've seen several demonstrations. On Monday night, Illinois came out with 4 men on the floor. Nice pass by
Here's
Sampson.
Raker. Now we got a foul. You have to be impressed the way the big man, Ralph Sampson, looks for the open man and hits him.
Again now, he makes his entry down the baseline. Good position by Brewer. Sampson wisely doesn't charge. Feeds back. Raker, a slashing forward, takes it to the basket, draws the foul.
And Mark Hall picks up his first personal foul from Madison. Is down by 9. The finals of the NIT, a super field put together by the MIBA, the Metropolitan Intercollegiate Basketball Association, the sponsors of the NIT. Member schools, Fordham University, New York University, St. John's, Wagner College, and Manhattan College. And Lee Raker on the line, trying to get the Cavaliers closer. His first point of the ball game. And the rebound is pulled down by Holmes. 18-10 in favor of Minnesota. Spencer Ross, Bucky Waters, and Andy Musser from Madison Square Garden. Here is Darrell Mitchell. McHale. And his back does look good. Finds Brewer for the turnaround. Oh! Rolled off, and we got a foul. Offensive foul on the Golden Gophers.
Virginia in a 1-3-1 zone that time. McHale took it to the baseline at 6'11", lofted the pass up over the defense to Brewer. That ball was in and out, and Coleman, coming from the back, was called for the foul.
8-point lead for the Golden Gophers. Virginia patiently up floor with Jeff Jones, number 24, directing the offense. Lee Raker. He certainly can shoot. On the season, a 45% shooter. Virginia has hit just 5 of 15 shots in this ball game, only 33% from the floor. 6-point Minnesota lead. This is McHale. They look for Brewer, the 7-2 man. It'll count. He was fouled in the play.
Well, he's picked right up where he was last night. McHale at 6'11" again, drilling that zone right inside to Brewer. Once he gets it, there really isn't much you can do about it. The only guy that can stop him is Ralph Sampson, and he has just entered the game.
Foul on the play is on Terry Gates. And here is Brewer. Has the three-point play, and Minnesota once again a 9-point lead. That has been their largest margin, 21-12.
Minnesota doing a slight trap out of their 2-3, trying to keep the ball from rotating to the other side.
Raker, the rebound, McHale. Here's a 3-on-2, make it 4-on-2. Break Tucker trying to find Brewer, and a good defensive play as Raker came back quickly to break up that break.
Raker's a tremendous competitor. For those in the Big Ten area, I would liken him to Kevin Boyle of Iowa. That same size, same toughness, good shooter.
Pardon the redundancy, breaking up the break, but I guess it's correct, Buck. That's exactly what Raker did. Here's Brewer, and Hall with plenty of room. That's what happens when you got a 7-2 man. You got to slough off on him. Brewer goes up. One more time. Sampson with the reject. And the rebound pulled down by Jones. Raker, and we got a traveling violation on Lee Raker. Ralph Sampson, 7-4, going up against Brewer.
A very exclusive club. Sampson misses the first one. Notice how Brewer doesn't bring that ball down. He keeps it up, and he's really back above the rim when 7-4 Sampson drills it out on 7th Avenue. Now, you really have to look at that and say, was it goaltending? Because he was above the rim. Very close call.
Darryl Mitchell, number 30, back in the lineup. Kevin McHale gets his first rest of the evening for Minnesota. 9-point lead for the Golden Gophers. It's been their largest. Here's Holmes looking to make it 11. The rebound pulled down by Hall. And Minnesota controlling those offensive boards. This is Brewer. Holmes turning on Gates. Sampson with a beautiful reject.
He's coming from the weak side to make all those blocks. The only way to go is right at him. Anytime he can come and help, he's going to do that, as he did in the semifinals all night long. He already holds the NIT reject record with 9, which he did in the first round against Lafayette. Broke a record of 7 by Detroit's Terry Tyler back in '78.
And there's a rebound for Sampson, who's averaging 15 rebounds a game here in the NIT. Lee Raker. Raker's second field goal. 21-14, Minnesota by 7. Holmes. Here's Mitchell. And we're going to get a foul. And it's going to be on the University of Virginia. Now checking, we got a timeout. We have no personal foul. 8:14 left in the first half of the high school basketball tournament. The cheerleaders are here for the University of Minnesota. You're looking right now at the University of Virginia cheerleaders, and everybody having a good time at the 43rd NIT.
Over 15,000 here, and that's incredible, Spencer, because it's live in New York City on television, and it's a tribute again to Pete Carlissimo and the MIBA. A tremendous field, and the teams that have gotten here have played thrilling games. There's talent and the enthusiasm. They had dueling pep bands in the lobby of the hotel. It was like 8 on the Richter scale.
McHale back in the lineup, and the rebound pulled down by Garland Jefferson. Jeff Klein into the lineup for the first time, number 23 for the University of Virginia.
Bringing Sampson up high now against the zone.
Jefferson, rebound pulled down by Tom Owens, number 45. He's into the lineup for the first time. He'd been a starter most of this season, and about 3 weeks ago, it had been diagnosed that Owens is suffering from a duodenal ulcer. And the young man lost a dozen pounds, and Virginia happy to have him back. So's his family, and so's Tom. Here's Jeff Klein. 7.5 remaining in the first half. Virginia has trailed virtually throughout. Here's Sampson. Looks inside, finds Owens. The rebound, Holmes got batted in the eye. Raker goes to the hoop. Holmes is still holding his head. Here comes Tucker for the Golden Gophers. Now we get an official's timeout, as down the other end of the floor, as you see it, Gary Holmes holding onto his eye. He got a hand in his face, And the young man is definitely in pain. And a good call by the referee in stopping play.
McHale misses the block. He could only stop it because it was Minnesota that had the ball. Man, that's fierce board play. It looked like Raker trying to create the loose ball, got a little bit of ball, and got some of his right eye. Now, the coach, Jim Dutcher, has a choice now. He can take him out or be charged with a timeout. If he makes a substitution, there's no timeout charge. If he elects to leave him in, he will be charged with a timeout. So he is making the substitution. Ben Coleman's coming in.
Coleman is a freshman from North High School in Minneapolis, Minnesota. University of Minnesota cheerleaders on the sidelines as Gary Holmes gets a rest. Minnesota has the basketball. 21-14, Golden Gophers by 7. They've led by as many as 9. This is Coleman, number 54.
Since Sampson came back in the game and Virginia stayed man for man, Brewer has not scored.
Mitchell. Tucker. Coleman had the ball and Raker had his arm. Lee Raker, number 25, picks up the personal foul. And on Raker, that is personal foul number 1. That is the 6th team foul on the University of Virginia. Each team has 6. Next foul, we get the 1-and-1. So Mitchell will inbound for the Golden Gophers. This is McHale. Owens guarding him. And the steal. Raker has it. Jeff Klein, he can push the ball up. Tom Owens fires.
Klein gave Virginia a very fine semifinal game Monday night when they were resting Jeff Jones, and he's off to a good start here in the first half.
Terry Holland began to use him. Originally he'd been using Doug Newberg, and Klein looked good on Monday night, as you said, Bucky.
Newberg was very tentative against the pressure of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Lee Raker with another steal, but he gives it back to Coleman, and we're going to get a foul. Lee Raker picks it up.
Well, where Raker is, there'll be action. Playing Ben Coleman tough, giving away about 4 inches. He thought he had the ball, and he did. Tried to make the outlet pass. Coleman gets it back. Raker goes back for another swipe, and this time gets a whole lot of forearm. Raker would be a lot better shooter, except he has so much skin under his fingernails, usually the opponent's skin. I think it really does affect his shooting touch. He's a scrapper.
So here we got a 1-and-1, and on the line is Ben Coleman, the freshman from Minneapolis. And the rebound is pulled down by Mike Owens of Virginia. Raker's second personal foul of the ball game. This is Jeff Klein, as Jeff Jones on the bench getting a rest from Terry Holland. Raker. Here's Sampson. And Ralph Sampson, his 3rd field goal, 6 points. And Virginia has battled back. They're within 3.
When Minnesota went to the 1-2-2 zone, Sampson left the low post and came up high, and he's been unstoppable up there. If he isn't scoring, he's making the great pass.
McHale on the miss and the rebound by Jefferson. Virginia has scored 6 in a row. Looking for 8. Here's Raker. And the rebound Owens, but Owens knew it. Yes, I did push him off, and the foul is on me. And Mike just looked up and said, you caught me. There he is, Mike Owens, number 45 of the University of Virginia.
Raker putting up the good jumper from the corner. As percentage dictates, the ball goes to the weak side. And just a little nudge there. Not much.
So the 1-and-1, and on the line is Trent Tucker, a 6'5 sophomore from Flint, Michigan, who's been averaging nearly 11 points a ball game. And Bucky, I got to tell you, this is some kind of excited crowd here at the finals of the NIT.
You have to keep looking out there to see who's playing, because most of the chants are Big Ten, and ACC. It's become a prestige thing. Of course, Virginia is the only Atlantic Coast Conference team left in the hunt for postseason honors. There are 3 remaining in the Big Ten. Last year's final here between Indiana and Purdue was an all Big Ten final, with Indiana winning 53-52.
Here's Jeff Klein for the University of Virginia. 5:14 left in the first half as Lee Raker fires. And Raker with 7 points. He leads the Virginia scores, and the Cavaliers again with a 3.
I still don't think that the 1-2-2 is Minnesota's best bet against Virginia, because its weaknesses are the baseline and the high post. and that's where the strength of Virginia is, with Lamp and Raker shooting on the baseline and Ralph Sampson in the middle.
There's Tucker, and it's picked up by Mike Owens. Raker was breaking, did not box Tucker out, and a good play by Mike Owens. Here's Klein for the Cavaliers. They can move within one. Mike Owens, it's a one-point ball game. Owens' second field goal. Virginia's within one. Jim Dutcher wants to talk it over with his Golden Gophers from Madison Square Garden, where it Jim Dutcher, the head coach of the University of Minnesota, his ball club was leading it 21-12. Since then, they've been outscored 10-2, and Virginia now within 1 point, 23-22, and off that 1-2-2 zone, as you say, Bucky, Minnesota having problems.
Oh, Jim Dutcher's a fine coach. I don't know whether it'll be man for man or 2-3 or whether he'll come down and trap a little more, but he's going to do something to get Virginia out of that groove. He was an assistant coach and a Michigan graduate, but he was an assistant coach under Johnny Orr there. Of course, we saw a fine Wolverine team fall in the quarterfinals to Virginia in Charlottesville.
So here's Minnesota with a 1-point lead. They have gone cold. They started out hot, 8 for 12. They have now hit 1 of their last 11 shots from the floor. Here's Holmes. McHale has it batted away. Jones. Here's Owens! And missed the easy one. McHale with a rebound. A pretty feed to Owens. Look at Lee Raker. He's all over the floor, Buck.
He's some competitor. You got, if there's World War III, I want him in a foxhole with me. I love him.
Holmes. Mitchell. Minnesota stays cold, and Jeff Jones has the rebound. This is Raker. The Cavaliers can move ahead. Jeff Lamp, and they are ahead.
We talked earlier about Lamp and the fact that he had given up some of his game. He loves to post up the guards. He's very effective inside. He's shooting 1/3 less free throws, and he's a heck of a swingman inside. But with Sampson in there just isn't enough room.
So Virginia with the lead, looking to make it 3. Owens is called for traveling. The ball will go over to the Golden Gophers with 3:05 remaining. Randy Brewer is back in the lineup, number 45 for the Golden Gophers, as he replaces Gary Holmes. Virginia 7 turnovers, 7 for the University of Minnesota, as the Cavaliers have battled back, outscoring Minnesota now 12-2. Here's Mitchell. McHale. Brewer, good position, shooting over Sampson.
Sampson got caught on the high side. You got to play those big men on the baseline side to force them back toward the top of your defense. If you make a mistake on the baseline, you're dead. The other way, by playing baseline side and forcing up, you got weak side help and you got help from the top. And believe me, with those 7-footers out there, you've got to have help. You can't do it by yourself, even if you're 7 foot.
Here's Owens coming right back for the University of Virginia, and his third field goal puts the Cavaliers out in front, 26-25 with 2:24 remaining. Terry Gates comes back into the lineup as this crowd goes wild. Gates replaces Mike Owens.
If you're watching this game in black and white, you must be having a difficult time between the contrast of the yellow shirts of Minnesota and the orange of Virginia. There's a story behind the orange shirts, and that the last time they wore orange was when they won the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship in 1976. They had ordered them to wear them again for the Atlantic Coast Conference tournament this year, but they didn't come in time. So supposedly this is a good luck omen, and we'll see how it works out.
Well, Terry Holland, a believer in such omens. First game of the NIT, he did not start Lee Raker. He was suffering with a flu bug, and he hasn't started him since. And you see how important Lee Raker is. That foul, by the way, on Ralph Sampson, his second, as we look at Randy Brewer as he gets set to shoot.
Well, you know, coaches, they're a squirrely breed, Spencer. They got all kind of hypes and gimmicks, and certainly staying with a lineup that's winning, even if it isn't your best players, that's kind of traditional.
You did that too, right, Buck?
Oh yeah, Darrell Royal said it one time. He said it best of any. I think he said, "You dance with who brung you." Now, grammatically, that's not correct, but whoever's out there doing it, whatever they believe is right and it's winning, stay with it.
Jeff Jones with the ball, and we're going to get a foul. Minnesota thought it should have been on Jones. It is not. The foul is on Trent Tucker. And on Tucker, that is his third first check, and it's on Mitchell. Mitchell's first personal foul. Had it been on Tucker, that would have been his third. And to the line goes Jeff Jones to shoot 1-1 for the Cavaliers of Virginia. Jones still looking for his first point. Jeff Lamp, who had 30 in the semifinals, has but one basket tonight for 2 points.
Jeff Jones really amazes me. You look at him and you say point guard, and you say, no way. I know we can press that guy and force Virginia to do some things they don't want to do. In the last 3 NIT games, Jeff Jones has played 108 minutes, has 4 turnovers, and has averaged 9 assists in NIT play. That's really incredible.
He seems to play the game of basketball mathematically, cutting down angles and compensating for his lack of speed. Remember, he's playing with a bad knee. There's the steal by Lamp. And Klein in the lineup replacing Jones. 1 point Virginia leads, 28-27, a minute 40 left in the half.
Minnesota going man now. A good move by Jim Dutcher. He had to give him another look.
Here's Gates firing, and the rebound pulled down by Brewer. Knocked away by Klein, but taken back by Mitchell. Minnesota trails by 1. The Golden Gophers can move back out in front right here. Mark Hall, the 6'2 sophomore from Springfield, Massachusetts. This is McHale. And the rebound pulled down by Jeff Lamp. And Jeff Klein slows things down. I look at the Virginia bench. The Cavaliers are going to play for 1 with a minute 4 remaining in the half. And they don't have Sampson in there. They like to hold on. This is Lattimore. Rebound pulled down by Tucker. Leads to McHale. He'll take it. Kevin McHale, you can see why he is so highly touted by the professional scouts.
6'11", 240, but great hands. As you see him lumber down that sideline, you know, he looks like a bus, but he moves like a greyhound. He split through 2 defenders back there. I didn't think there was any way that if he took it to the basket, he could avoid the charge, but he did. He's still holding his back.
35 seconds as you take a look at the clock. Virginia down by 1 to Minnesota. We got a foul off the ball. And the foul will be on Trent Tucker, and that is Tucker's third personal. Bad time to get it with 33 seconds left in the half. Garland Jefferson back into the Virginia lineup, number 11.
Garland Jefferson, number 11, is in for Virginia.
And Jeff Lamp goes to the line to shoot 1-1. Lamp during the regular season was an 84% free throw shooter. At one point he had 48 in a row, but here in the NITs at only 66% from the line.
With only 33 seconds remaining, and on that free throw line situation, looked like a good spot to put Ralph Sampson in. He's not in foul trouble.
Placing Trent Tucker.
And as you see, Tucker goes back to the bench. He's replaced by Andy Thompson, a sophomore from Nassau in the Bahamas. And the younger brother of former Minnesota great Michael Thompson. Here's Lamp looking to put Virginia out in front right now. We're tied at 29. And the rebound pulled down by Brewer. Minnesota undoubtedly will play for 1 now with 28 seconds left in the half.
Lamp doesn't miss many free throws. He set an Atlantic Coast Conference record this year with 48 straight.
McHale, the Golden Gophers holding on, looking for the final shot. The clock ticks down in the lower left-hand corner of your TV screen. Mitchell, they got to start moving it in now. McHale looking for Brewer. This is Hall. Got to shoot it up. McHale has it knocked away. It is loose. They're not going to get that final shot. Great defense, particularly by Terry Gates, who tied up Kevin McHale and prevented the Golden Gophers from getting off the final shot. From Madison Square Garden, where it all began, where it is today, the 43rd Annual National Invitational Basketball Tournament. That's the end of the first half of play. We're all tied. Virginia 29, University of Minnesota 29. We'll start our halftime coverage live from Madison Square Garden. After this, from Metropolitan Intercollegiate Basketball Association, Pete Carlissimo, the executive director from Fordham University, Dan Pulte from New York University, Jack Kaiser from St. John's, Pete J. Carlissimo from Wagner College, and Jack Powers of Manhattan College. Underway second half. Minnesota will run through the starting lineup. They've got Mitchell and Hall. Mitchell number 30, Hall number 24 in the backcourt. McHale is at center. Trent Tucker with 3 personal fouls starts the second half, and Gary Holmes is in there for the University of Minnesota.
McHale got the tip both halves over Ralph Sampson, and that has to come as a surprise. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Here's McHale in deep with a jumper, and the rebound pulled down by Sampson. For Virginia, they've got Jeff Jones in the backcourt, along with Jeff Lamp, number 3. Ralph Sampson in the middle. He has the ball. Try to shovel it off, and Sampson saw he had nobody to shovel it to, so he turns it over. Up front, Virginia goes with the same lineup that started the ball game. Terry Gates, 44, 11, Garland Jefferson, and a good look at the freshman, Ralph Sampson, number 50, for the University of Virginia.
One of the keys in this game is Kevin McHale only had 6 shots in the first half, hitting 2, so he's now 2 for 7. The Gophers got to have him.
And here is Mitchell. 9 points for Mitchell, and Minnesota is out in front by a score of 31-29. They've led by as many as 9 in this ball game. Jeff Jones, who sets the offense for the Cavaliers here. Sampson firing. The rebound by Gates. He has it again. Look at that hustle from 6'8" Terry Gates, a junior from Louisville, Kentucky.
He's never pretty, but he really does bust him in there. He wedged back, nearly caused a charging foul, but he made room for himself, and that's not easy with the bulk of that front line for Minnesota.
Gates has 5 points, another steal by Virginia, 10th turnover of the ball game for the University of Minnesota. We're tied at 31 as Lamp fires. Sampson tipped.
Lamp's first field goal came right at the end of the first half. He has really not been in the offense from a scoring standpoint, but he's been passing the ball extremely well. That last shot rimmed in and out.
Here's
Lamp.
a steal by Jeff Lamp. Lamp goes for the rebound, stumbles, and Mitchell goes after him. I believe we're going to get a foul. Jeff Lamp came down. He hit the floor pretty hard, but good aggressive play by this Virginia ball club.
All right, here's the 6'6" junior now. Out front with good hands on the steal. Goes between his legs. Little showtime. Has the short jumper. That's normally death for him. And it goes off the iron. And good hustle going after. Last night he was 14 for 22. Tonight he can't seem to buy one. I'm sorry, Monday night.
No foul on that play. Out of bounds off Mitchell. And Virginia has the ball. This is Lamp. McHale has 5 inches on him, battles it away, and Jeff Lamp picks up what I have to call a frustration foul.
Yeah, well, he just forgets it. Kevin McHale has very good hands, and they're on the end of some very long arms. It was a good steal, and he got frustrated, tried to get it back right in front of Mickey Crowley. Brewer back in the game. The big guy, now they're going with their big front line. Coleman, Brewer, McHale, 7'2", 6'11", 6'10".
That is big in any league. Here's Mitchell, 33-31, Virginia by 2. McHale looking to tie it. And Kevin McHale does just that. He now has 6 points in the ball game. We're tied at 33. We were tied at the end of the first half at 29.
Both teams shooting under 40% in the first half. I'm sure we can look for that to pick up.
Virginia shot 60% in the second half of its semifinal victory over the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. They shot 66% in their quarterfinal victory over Michigan, 76 in the first half of play. And off that 2-3 zone, Virginia very patiently working the basketball.
Minnesota's in a 2-3, and it's much better suited for their personnel.
Here's Sampson on the rebound. We're going to get a foul. I believe it's going to be on Gary Holmes. And on Gary Holmes, that is personal foul number 2. And on Minnesota, their first team foul. So Virginia will inbound.
Again, they're zoning the out of bounds, but they'll play Jeff Lamp man for man.
And Lamp will try and cut to the baseline off a pick. Here's Jefferson. Good touch by Garland Jefferson, his second basket, and Virginia back out in front, 35-33.
A fellow named Al McGuire, who won both the NCAA and the NIT as a coach, calls those criers.
This is Mitchell, and Hall fires. Rebound Sampson. The outlet to Lamp. It's a 2-on-3, and Jeff Lamp turned it over as he was looking for Garland Jefferson on the left wing. And right here with 16:10 remaining in the second half of play, the score, a timeout on the floor.
Is being replaced by Bill Foster after 6 outstanding years at Duke. And of course it was announced today that Mike Krzyzewski, the former coach at West Point, will go to Duke. And the folks down in the Atlantic Coast Conference can look for very conservative basketball from a very fine young coach.
Here's Darrell Mitchell firing. The rebound pulled down by Sampson, who had but 4 rebounds in the first half. He's now pulled down 5 boards here in the second. Here is Jefferson. And Garland Jefferson has Virginia out in front by 4, their largest margin of the ballgame. 15.5 remaining. Virginia by 4, 37-33. This is Holmes, number 42. McHale. Brewer coming way out. You don't want him there. Hall. And Minnesota very slowly working the ball off that 2-3 Virginia zone.
Minnesota's been most effective with McHale on the outside, who has the jump shot, either taking it or feeding inside to Brewer.
And McHale having trouble with the basketball. And again, Terry Gates, as you said, he doesn't look pretty. Nice looking fellow, but he doesn't look pretty on the floor, but he does get the job done. A real gutsy, scrappy young ball player.
Well, it's a very simple game plan. The Cavaliers are really diving after that ball. When the entry pass is made anywhere in the post against Jim Dutcher's Gophers, they're just collapsing down inside, forcing that big man to either go straight up or kick it out. There's no way you're going to be able to put it on the floor.
And a look at Terry Holland also as he looks on. His Virginia Cavaliers are out in front by 4, 37-33 with 14:58 remaining in the ballgame. The finals of the NIT. Here's Mitchell. Jeff Jones with him. McHale shooting over Gates. We get a foul. Terry Gates picks up the personal. And on Gates, that's his second personal foul.
That's very obvious now. Minnesota's going to the franchise. That's Kevin McHale, who won 2 gold medals this summer, the Pan American Games and the World University Games. Hasn't been in the offense much. That time he got a little nudge by Terry Gates, but this is the guy that's going to bail him out if they're going to bail out.
Kevin McHale, co-MVP in the Big Ten. An 81% free throw shooter. This is a big one here as Lee Raker, number 25, comes back into the University of Virginia lineup, replacing Garland Jefferson. Jefferson leaves with 6 points, 2 big baskets right here at the outset of the second half. And Virginia with its largest lead by 4. McHale looking to cut it now to 3. And the rebound on Gates. So McHale 0 for 2 from the line and still a 4-point Virginia lead. Remember, Virginia blew out the University of Nevada at Las Vegas in the second half after that ball game was tied at halftime. And right now they've got a 4-point lead, and they're controlling play here at the outset. Lamp was looking the other way, and Brewer has the steal. Mitchell leads the break, stops and pops. 11 points for Darrell Mitchell. He leads the Minnesota scores.
Brewer's a fine shooter, but that pass came right through and hit him in the chest. He couldn't get his hands closed in time. Nobody was more surprised than he was.
Here's Jones. Raker, who couldn't hit him. Oh, Lee Raker has really been the key off the bench for Virginia. He now has 9 points, which is tops for the Cavaliers. 13:50 remaining. The Cavs by 4, 39-35. Here's McHale. Holmes goes for the rebound. Sampson has it. I know McHale can shoot from the outside, Bucky, but that's a little deep, isn't it?
Well, they're forcing that perimeter shot for the most part, and it's bounding further out. But Sampson can go get him anywhere.
Lamp finds Sampson. Now we're going to have a foul underneath. The foul is going to be on the University of Virginia.
There's the play where Lamp was cutting through the middle. Jones gave him the ball. He wasn't looking. Off of Brewer's chest. Mitchell down. Ooh, very high dribble. Almost got away. Wisely, he gets under control. Pulls up with the easy 15-footer.
Terry Gates
came all the way from Vegas and lost 2. But this team is very similar to that 73 team he had that was very young and came on 4 years later to go to the Final Four. I look for big things from the Running Rebels in the next couple of years.
And there's a steal by Ralph Sampson from Brewer. Virginia by 4, looking to make it 6. Raker fires. Sampson for the rebound. Mitchell has it, loses it, and it's picked up by Brewer.
Just a little less than 13 minutes, an eternity here. Foul situation, not critical anywhere, really. Virginia playing lots of man for man, and that's confidence. But they've really got to. Sampson has to match up with Brewer. He went crazy when Sampson wasn't in there, or he was somewhere else in the zone.
Well, Brewer had 24 in the semifinal victory over the University of Illinois. Thus far this evening, Brewer with 7 points. Mitchell on the drive. We got a foul. Jeff Jones picks it up for the University of Virginia. And on Jones, that is personal foul number 3. And on Virginia, their 4th team foul.
That's a crucial foul because Jeff Jones is tremendously important in controlling the tempo, particularly in the latter stages of the game. If Minnesota mounts any kind of pressure, it'll be Jones' job to keep that thing open and get the ball to the people. He should have it at the right time, and he does that so well. Klein did an adequate job, a more than adequate job in the semifinals. But if they're going to win this thing, they're going to need a big 10 minutes from Jeff Jones down the stretch.
Mitchell now 2 for 4 from the free throw line. He has 12 points. His team, Minnesota, down by 3, as you see it, 39-36. And Jeff Jones again controlling the offense for the Cavaliers. This is Gates, number 44. 12:20 remaining. Raker finds Gates. And the rebound is taken down by big Kevin McHale, number 44, who hands it off to Trent Tucker. Minnesota can move within 1. 12:03 remaining. McHale. This is Tucker. In and out on the rebound, pulled down by Jeff Lamb. Tough break in the shot by Tucker. Here comes Jones. Look the way he angles in. No speed. Gives to Gates. And the rebound pulled down by Brewer. Virginia bench calling for a goaltending call.
Well, Jeff Jones just got in there too deep. With those 3 big guys under there, there really isn't any place to go.
Again, Minnesota with an opportunity to move within 1. Mitchell got a pick from Brewer. The rebound pulled down by Raker. And it comes over to Jeff Lamb, right in front of us, here at courtside at the Garden. Minnesota's had its opportunities. Unable to put the ball in the hoop the last 2 times. Still down by 3. Here's Sampson. Can't give him too many chances.
That's what you call a picture shot. There were 3 Minnesota players around him. 2 of them are 6'10" or better. And he just went right up over the top. Virginia gets enamored with their running game, and they forget about this guy. Right over Kevin McHale, an outstanding center, and he leaves Randy Brewer at 7'2", looking in admiration. What a touch.
And that is pretty. Big Ralph Sampson, the 7'4" freshman. Here's a steal by Lamb. Virginia leads it by 5, 41-36, with 10 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the ball game. This is Gates. Raker, he's had a hot hand. The rebound pulled down by Tucker. Golden Gophers break, and a foul is on Raker. And on Lee Raker, that is personal foul number 3. So Raker picks up his 3rd and the 15th foul of the Cavaliers as Terry Holland looks on.
Well, a good lesson to be learned there. Even as good a defensive player as Lee Raker is, as quick as his hands are, that's no place to make a stand against a fast break in the middle of the floor, especially when you're trying to pick up a guy as quick as Trent Tucker. He just blew right by him.
Ball belongs to Minnesota. As Hall fires, Sampson has a rebound, but we got a foul. And it's going to be on Darrell Mitchell of the University of Minnesota. And on Mitchell, that is personal foul number 2, the 2nd team foul of the Golden Gophers.
Mitchell's still looking for the license number there, and the foul was called on him. And it looked to me like somebody leaned on Ralph a little bit. He came with a lot more velocity than usual. And when a 7-footer lands on you, even if he only weighs 210 pounds, it still smarts.
We just got the attendance figure, 13,598 here at the Garden of Sampson. Rebound McHale, foul, Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson has his third personal foul, and he is not happy about it.
Again, McHale gets caught on the high side, giving Sampson the baseline. It's an easy layup. It rolls around and out. Sampson recovers now, tries to come back and make the steal. Again, a foul of inexperience, a little bit of frustration. In fact, Ralph Sampson showed more emotion on that foul than I've seen him in his entire freshman year.
There's Jeff Klein back into the lineup for the University of Virginia. Terry Holland walking back to the bench as Jeff Jones gets a rest. Mitchell for Minnesota, 41-36. Virginia leads it by 5. Mark Hall. This is Trent Tucker. And Tucker makes it a 3-point ball game. His first field goal of the night. Trent Tucker has been averaging nearly 11 points a game. 10.5 here in the NIT. It's 41-38 in favor of Virginia.
Both teams going man for man. I think there's going to be some isolation. Virginia's got to take that ball to the left side and start looking for number 50.
That's where Sampson likes it, on the left. Mike Owens back in the lineup, number 45 for the University of Virginia.
Minnesota's doing a good job of influencing the ball away from Sampson. Virginia's got to take it back.
Here's Raker, and he'll count. He was fouled in the play. Randy Brewer picks up the foul. Incredible ball control by Lee Raker as he was clobbered.
Lee Raker, the dead-end kid. The defense goes by. He penetrates. Brewer moves in front. The contact is made. From this angle, it was very difficult to see, but I thought Raker left the floor before Brewer got both feet planted. Even though there was contact in his chest, I don't think he was there before Raker left the floor, and that's key.
Here's Gates back in the lineup. Terry Gates replacing Lee Raker, who's had a rough season. He's had a sprained ankle. He's had a flu. He's had assorted injuries that have kept him on the sideline. He's been a starter for Terry Holland all year long, except here in the NIT. Here's Brewer. Stops. It'll count. He was fouled. 7-2 freshman Randy Brewer.
Randy Brewer starting to gain some momentum. Again, the key is the pass from McHale. That time the baseline attempt at the steal was missed, and Klein coming back in, trying to help on the big guy, was a step and a second late.
Klein picks up the foul. Gary Holmes back into the lineup for the University of Minnesota, replacing Mark Hall. And Brewer on the line, an opportunity to complete a three-point play. The Minnesota cheerleaders are up. They're excited. Their team can move within 3 right now. And they do just that. 10 points for Brewer, 44-41. Virginia by 3. This is Gates. Mike Owens, who came off the bench, did a couple of hoops in the first half. Sampson shooting over McHale. The rebound, Brewer. Minnesota can come within 1.
The problem is, even though Sampson can hit that shot, when he goes to the head of the key, Minnesota still has 7-2 and 6-10 underneath.
There's Brewer missing. Rebound, Holmes in the lane. We got a foul. And for the first time in the second half, Minnesota is beginning to pull the rebounds. Harry Robinson, our statistician, had it figured early in the second half. 9 rebounds for Virginia, 0 for Minnesota. From Madison Square Garden, where it all began. Couldn't tell you. I think she's praying.
Yeah, well, Terry Holland better be doing a little. He's in serious foul trouble with 8:27 to go. Sampson has 3. Jeff Jones has 3. Terry Gates has 3. And key player tonight for him, Lee Raker, has 3.
Here is Holmes on the line to shoot 2. And Holmes makes it a 2-point ball game, his 6th point of the night, 44-42. Holmes seems to have gotten over the ill effects of getting that finger stuck in his eye in the first half. We're down to 1 now, 44-43. A super final of the 43rd annual National Invitational Basketball Tournament. We're happy we can be with you for Madison Square Garden. 1-point ball game with 8:15 remaining.
Virginia's saying they don't want to play against the 2-3 zone. They're going to take that big team, try and spread them out a little bit.
And Jeff Jones, 24, Lee Raker, 25, back in the Cavalier lineup.
Minnesota does come man, and Virginia immediately goes to their man offense.
This is Jones, looks for Raker. Mike Owens makes a move on Brewer, who'll pick up the foul. Got no call on the basket. It will be no basket. The foul is on the big man, Randy Brewer. That is his second, and the 14th foul on Minnesota.
Brewer pulled away from the basket. A good move by Mike Jones. Pulls him, it goes right by him, and the big guy stuck out his hand. Probably would have been a layup otherwise. Good first step by Mike Owens.
We're back live. Jones for Virginia. He's in no hurry. This is Raker. Owens. 7:35 remaining. Jeff Lamp.
Trent Tucker has done a fine defensive job on Jeff Lamb tonight.
Mike Owens bombs one in. He has 8 points. Virginia by 3. Big basket. 46-43. The Cavaliers lead it. Holmes. Trent Tucker. And we're down to 1 once again. Tucker's second field goal. It is 46-45 count.
Neither one of these teams are going to fold. Minnesota, of course, beat everybody in the Big Ten but Iowa. Lost heartbreakers to Indiana, overtime, Ohio State. They're a tough basketball team. They've both been through the wars. Virginia beat everybody in the ACC except Maryland and beat Duke twice, so we can look for a great finish.
And it has been a great one thus far. Sampson is fouled by Tucker as he goes up, and Trent Tucker has picked up his 4th personal foul of the ball game. And let's see what Jim Dutcher does. Will he leave Tucker in the lineup? A sophomore from Flint, Michigan.
So far, no move. What a job he's done, Spencer. He took the Minnesota program over 5 years ago, and things weren't going very well in Minnesota land, and he really turned it around. Fine coach.
And he's done a fine job this year. You pointed out that Minnesota had a fine year in the Big Ten. They were 10-3 in that very tough conference. Sampson now with 12 points on 2 key free throws. 6:43 remaining. It's a 3-point Cavalier lead.
They tied for 4th in the Big Ten with Iowa, and of course Iowa is still in the hunt with Purdue for the NCAA championship.
Here's Holmes, and the rebound pulled down by Jeff Lamp. 6.5 remaining. 48-45. The Cavaliers of Virginia lead it by 3, and Jeff Jones directs the offense for Virginia.
Mary Holland may elect to go to some kind of a delay earlier than usual due to the physical makeup of this Minnesota team. You just can't imagine that you're going to get many second shots even with a Ralph Sampson.
Here's Lamp had a step, and the foul is on Trent Tucker. He is fouled out of the ball game with 6:05 remaining. Tucker picks up his 5th personal foul, and now Jim Dutcher has no choice. He's got to go to his bench.
That's his 5th personal foul.
Virginia milking a little time, primarily Jeff Jones with the ball. The good cut coming in. Jeff Lamp has his man beat. The foul was called prior to that. Tucker was trailing the play, tried to bail out by reaching in. 9 times out of 10, that's a bad gamble. And it was expensive, his 5th.
And in the lineup, replacing Tucker is number 24, Mark Hall, the sophomore from Springfield, Massachusetts. As a high schooler, he was Mr. Basketball in Massachusetts. Right here, Minnesota calls a timeout from Madison Square Garden, where it all began, where it is today, the 43rd annual NIT with 6:05. The University of Minnesota, his team down by 3. Ball belongs to Virginia with a 48-45 lead. Let's see if they slow it up now, Buck.
Minnesota wants to go back to that zone. Virginia says, we got you 3, less than 6 to go. Come play us, man.
And now Hall steps out to meet Jeff Jones. 5:50 remaining. Virginia 48, Minnesota 45. Minnesota led it by 9 early in the first half, 21-12. Virginia battled back and has led it throughout the second half, but never by more than 6 points.
Now the freshmen are matched up underneath. Brewer's playing Sampson.
Mike Owens. Sampson has it batted away. Raker made the turnover and said, I want to get it back. But Lee Raker has done just that. What hustle by Lee Raker, number 25.
Jim Dutcher's on the floor protesting. The pass inside, stolen by Ben Coleman, he loses it back. Raker's waiting just to get a little peek of the ball so that he won't get called for the foul. He sees just a little, gets his hands on it. Dutcher wanted a foul.
Raker and Mitchell will jump it up. And it's controlled by Minnesota. Coleman getting it over to Mark Hall.
Minnesota's controlled virtually every tip. In the regular season, the Atlantic Coast Conference teams only have one tip to start the game. After that, they alternate. I think it hurts them in postseason play.
Here's Randy Brewer, a dozen points for the 7-2 freshman, and Minnesota is within one, 48-47. We're under 5 minutes, 4:55 remaining. Mike Owens, Jeff Lamb, and Jeff Lamb, only his second field goal of the ball game, but what a big one because it gives the Cavaliers a 3-point lead, 50-47. Big time for a basket for the 6'6 junior who had 30 in the semifinal victory over the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Here's Mitchell around Jones, and Mitchell has the Golden Gophers within one.
Jones has had a difficult time containing the quickness of the Minnesota backcourt. They've penetrated him all night long. Of course, we can talk about that right knee and the torn cartilage. It does affect his lateral movement, and he just basically isn't quick when he has two good knees.
Mike Owens for the Cavaliers, 50-49, Virginia by one. Jeff Lamb, Kevin McHale guarding him. Sampson guarded by Brewer, and the rebound is pulled down by Mitchell.
When they feed Sampson from the baseline, it's a lot easier for Minnesota to collapse. The easiest feed for the big guy is at the head of the key. Most of the night, Minnesota has influenced the ball toward the side so that they could get the front and back alignment on the big guy.
Mitchell had an opportunity to put Minnesota out front, but Sampson has the rebound. This is Jeff Jones. Lee Raker fires. The rebound comes out to Hall. And Mark Hall for Minnesota. The Golden Gophers will slow it down. 3:25 remaining. Minnesota trails by one. Jim Dutcher wants to talk it over with his Golden Gophers. A timeout is called on the floor with 3:23 remaining. And what a ball game this has been. Minnesota led it at one point, 21-12 in the first half. Virginia then outscored them 17-8 to tie it at 29 at the end of the first half. And in that first half, Minnesota started shooting well, Bucky. 8 for 12, but the final minutes of the second half, they were 3 for 16. Here in the second half, looked like Virginia was going to break it open, but the Golden Gophers battled back.
Well, that's why they're in the finals. Neither one of these teams is going to fold. They've been through a lot of tough times all year. They've got the talent, and I think we're going to see an outstanding final 3 minutes and 23 seconds. I think Terry Holland has a key decision right now. He has he successfully pulled Minnesota out of their that's not a Gopher. That's a chipmunk.
No, it's a Golden Gopher.
That's a Golden Gopher.
It's a very big
Gopher. They didn't have Golden Gophers at Florida State. Anyway, Terry Holland pulled them out of the 2-3 zone, but then he went immediately to the man-for-man offense, which took the ball back inside against the big Minnesota front line. With 3 minutes and 23 seconds, he may elect to, being a 75% free throw shooting team, try to spread out that Minnesota side, open the floor, and I don't think it would be a bad move. He has to make that decision based on how much momentum his team thinks he has. And of course, if Minnesota scores, then he doesn't have that prerogative. He's got to play.
Minnesota has the ball. Players back in. Terry Gates back in the lineup for the Cavaliers of Virginia. 50-49. Virginia leads it by one. Hall. This is Mitchell. And Mitchell has put Minnesota out in front for the first time in the second half, 51-50. The young man who had the 2 free throws to put Minnesota into the final. And now Virginia has to battle back. Lee Raker knocked away by Mitchell. We're going to get a foul. And you see referee Mickey Crowley imploring Jim Dutcher to please sit down. The foul is on Mitchell. That is his third. It is a 1-and-1. And Lee Raker, an 83% free throw shooter, is at the line.
Jim Williams, his assistant, is up there with him. They were unhappy, not necessarily with the foul. They thought Raker was overly aggressive on through the whistle. In fact, that whole Minnesota bench was up. It looked like they were on a starting line. That could have been ugly.
Lee Raker is overly aggressive. and gets a good bounce on that free throw. And I say that not in a derogatory sense, Bucky. He's the kind of ball player you want on your team.
Yeah, you'll never convince Mitchell of that.
Only one of two. Brewer has the rebound. We're tied at 51 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the ball game, and Minnesota has the basketball. This is McHale. Hall. McHale. Holmes bangs into Raker. The rebound, Sampson. Could have been a foul there. And Jeff Jones will bring it up slowly for the Cavaliers.
Are they going to pull him out? Are they going to pull him out? Yes. A good move. Until Jim Dutcher can make a substitution, he's got 3 big men on the floor trying to press. Now, Virginia's coming back down in and running their offense, and as you can see, there are 5 gold jerseys all packed in there.
Here's Jeff Lamp, the rebound. Sampson trying to stop it. He's fouled from behind. And Ralph Sampson will go to the line to shoot 2. The foul is on Brewer for Sampson, his 15th rebound of the ball game.
Jeff Lamp taking it in traffic, didn't really have a hold of that ball, but with inside position is Ralph Sampson, who goes back up, makes a careless error. He wanted to stuff the ball, but he only took it up in one hand, and it just took just a little nudge that time. And of course, the guy that nudged him was 7'2", Randy Brewer, and he lost control of the ball. That very well could have been a 3-point play had he taken it up with both hands.
He has an opportunity to put the Cavaliers in front. He still does. Sampson, a 69% free throw shooter on the season, but only 41% here in the NIT. Jeff Klein back into the lineup for Virginia, replacing Jeff Jones. Virginia leads the ACC in Jeffs, I'm pretty sure of that.
Well, Terry Holland's a little upset. He did not want to bring Jones out at that point. Klein was waiting off of the scorer's table, but the scorer beckoned him on, and Mickey Crowley had no choice but to let him enter the game.
1 of 2 for Sampson, a 1-point lead for the Cavaliers of Virginia with 2:05 remaining. 52-51. Mitchell is fouled in the backcourt by Lamp. It'll be a 1-and-1, and on Lamp, his second personal.
What a foolish foul. I'm sure Terry Holland wanted a little token pressure, make Minnesota milk a little off the clock getting it up, but that was not a good foul, certainly not for a player of Jeff Lamp's caliber, a junior with all his experience.
Well, here's the situation. Darrell Mitchell, who hit 2 free throws with 14 seconds remaining to move Minnesota into the final in the semifinal victory over Illinois, is now on the line with 2:02 remaining. He can put his team ahead by 1. He has now tied it up. He has 17 points. He is the leading scorer in the ball game for the Golden Gophers. We're tied at 52. Clutch shooting by the sophomore from West Palm Beach, Florida, North Shore High School, and a 53-52 lead for the University of Minnesota. As you see, we're under 2 minutes, 1:50 remaining. Gates, this is Raker. Jeff Lamp. Again, Sampson from the baseline. And Jones has it, but Sampson looked up, so he had nowhere to go.
He got squeezed right off the floor. Good defense by Minnesota.
We're going to have a foul underneath. Mickey Crowley makes the call. It's going to be on Randy Brewer.
Fouled by Randy Brewer.
That's the inexperience of Randy Brewer. Again, he's being caught on top, and with the baseline pass coming down, there is no help for him. He's got to get on the baseline side and force him up. That's the same play that happened last time, except Sampson got up in the air and forced over the end line.
1-and-1 for Sampson, and this time he hits the first one to tie the ball game at 53-53. And Sampson can put the Cavaliers out in front with 1:31 remaining. And he does just that. 54-53 Virginia. We've got a beauty here at the Garden. This is Mitchell. And Minnesota wants to talk things over with 1:24 officially left in the ball game. And Jim Dutcher crowds his Golden Gophers around him. The opening game tonight. Third place goes to Illinois over the University of Nevada in Las Vegas.
if he should opt to go this year, he would be going with one of the more successful franchises and have a couple of years to break in behind Callens. That's the kind of speculation.
The clock tells you we have 1:17 remaining. Minnesota has no timeouts left in this ball game, and McHale saves it from going out of bounds, but it's knocked away by Raker and stolen by Jones. With 1:05 remaining, Lee Raker comes up with a big defensive play for the Cavaliers, and Minnesota will have to steal it or foul the Virginia team. Jeff Jones, Raker, Jones. We have 50 seconds remaining. Virginia leads it by 1. You don't want to foul Raker. Sampson.
Only 3 guys are going to handle it. Lamb shoots 84, Raker 83, and Jones 77. You don't have much choice.
Lamb gets it to Raker. This is Gates. That's the man they want to foul. And they do just that. Terry Gates will go to the line to shoot a very key 1-and-1 with the Cavaliers of Virginia leading by 1, 54-53. Jim Dutcher's concerned as he sits down on the bench.
Jim Dutcher has no more timeouts remaining, and that, of course, is a valuable ploy at this point in the game. Terry Holland of Virginia has 5 timeouts remaining.
Would you call a timeout now if you were the coach of Minnesota if you had it?
Well, yeah, if I had it, but he doesn't have it.
And it didn't matter. Getty Smith, Sampson has the rebound. Big Ralph Sampson with a key rebound, 25 seconds remaining. This is Gates. They try and foul him again, and Holmes couldn't get his hands on him. And now, Lamp is fouled, and he will go to the line to shoot 1-and-1. Big rebound for Ralph Sampson.
The heavens opened up for Minnesota. What they had to have was a miss. They got the miss from Terry Gates, and lo and behold, the hustling Cavaliers from Virginia got the offensive rebound. And as you look out there on the floor with McHale and Brewer and Coleman, how in the world could they have gotten it?
Here's Lamp with the 1-and-1. 6 points for Lamp. He can put the Cavaliers out by 3 with 19 seconds remaining. Minnesota, no times out left. 17 seconds left. Mitchell, Virginia will not foul. And so as I say that, Sampson commits a foul, and very nearly McHale stuffs it in, which could have brought about a 3-point play.
Oh, a super move down the baseline by Kevin McHale. 6'11", 240. He takes it to the hoop, knowing they need 3. The challenge is met by Ralph. Said, look at that, up above the square. And the 2 of them arm wrestle with that thing and nearly force it down through.
And Kevin McHale goes back to the bench because the University of Virginia calls a timeout. Have McHale think about it a bit. It is 56-53 in favor of the Cavaliers of Virginia. Those 2 free throws by Jeff Jones moments ago, giving Virginia this 3-point lead. And this crowd, they haven't sat down, Bucky, in about the last 8 minutes.
Well, that's true. Now, we talked about Terry Holland having 4 timeouts left. He may want to use one, but he's got to think about the fact that Jim Dutcher doesn't have any left. We're going with a little chalkboard here. What they're trying to do is set up for the inbounds against the pressure. And of course, what Minnesota will be trying to do is draw the charge, try to get in front of any movement by Virginia, trying to get free to get inbound.
And the foul will be on Trent Tucker, and that is Tucker's 3rd personal. Bad time to get it with 33 seconds left in the half. Garland Jefferson back into the Virginia lineup, number 11.
Garland Jefferson, number 11, is in for Virginia.
And Jeff Lamp goes to the line to shoot 1-and-1. Lamp during the regular season was an 84% free throw shooter. At one point he had 48 in a row, but here in the NIT he's at only 66% from the line.
With only 33 seconds remaining, and on that free throw line situation, looked like a good spot to put Ralph Sampson in. He's not in foul trouble.
Placing Trent Tucker.
And as you see, Tucker goes back to the bench. He's replaced by Andy Thompson, a sophomore from Nassau in the Bahamas. And the younger brother of former Minnesota great Michael Thompson. Here's Lamp looking to put Virginia out in front right now. We're tied at 29. And the rebound pulled down by Brewer. Minnesota undoubtedly will play for one now with 28 seconds left in the half.
Lamp doesn't miss many free throws. He set an Atlantic Coast Conference record this year with 48 straight.
McHale, the Golden Gophers holding on, looking for the final shot. The clock ticks down in the lower left-hand corner of your TV screen. Mitchell, they got to start moving it in now. McHale looking for Brewer. This is Hall. Got to shoot it up. McHale has it knocked away. It is loose. They're not going to get that final shot. Great defense, particularly by Terry Gates, who tied up Kevin McHale and prevented the Golden Gophers from getting off the final shot. From Madison Square Garden, where it all began, where it is today, the 43rd Annual National Invitational Basketball Tournament. That's the end of the first half of play. We're all tied. Virginia 29, University of Minnesota 29. We'll start our halftime coverage live from Madison Square Garden.